good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, YouTube, depending on where you are in time and place. Today is Monday, the 5th of August, and here in Canada, in most provinces, it is a statutory holiday, which means I get to go for a nice little Spyder ride. Today's plan is to take a ride up towards Gananoque, stop for a coffee, and then cruise a little bit back to Kingston and take a look at the local area. One of the things I wanted to talk about in upcoming episodes that I think I'll actually discuss today is the use of a Gremlin or a Guardian Bell on your trike. Just wondering how many people out there actually have them. I'm fortunate enough that I have three. I bought one myself when I first got the trike, placed it on, and then received two additional ones as a gift. So in today's episode, what I think I'll do is I will relate to you the legend of the Gremlin Bell, for those who aren't familiar with it. The legend of the Gremlin Bell. As the story goes, an old graybeard was riding home from Mexico with a saddlebag loaded full of toys and trinkets for some kids in an orphanage near where he lived. It was a cold night in the high desert just north of the border. As he rode, he thought of rides and of past epic journeys with long-lost friends and many nights just like this spent in the saddle. Ahead in the small beam of his old headlamp, he thought he saw something. As he rode on, it appeared again. This time, there were more of them. Tiny little creatures that seemed to dart in and out of the beam as fast as the wind. They were dark, little, dodgy spirits, quick and all but translucent in the moonlight. They were rogue gremlins. Before he could react, they were on his bike. As he smashed on the brakes, the front tire blew out, and the old rear drum brake that had served him well for years locked up. He crashed. When he came to, he was nearly 10 yards from his bike. One of the saddlebags had been torn loose and was lying next to him in the cold, hard-packed dirt. In the light of the moon, he could see his bike with the little spear-like rogue gremlins dancing on top of it. He raised himself up to his elbows where he could see them more clearly, and they got a glimpse of him as well. That's when they began to approach, slowly, almost curiously. They stalked towards him. As they advanced, he picked up the only thing that was within reach, the saddlebag. He began waving it at them, trying to keep them at bay. From inside the bag came a ringing noise. He noticed that if he shook the bag, the little gremlins would fall back, plug in the rears, and retreat in pain. He quickly unstrapped the bag and dug out the two sleigh bells from a set of toy reindeers buried inside the bottom of the bag. As he knelt there shaking the bells, the gremlins retreated off into the darkness, as if attracted like a moth to a flame. Two staggered headlights approached him from the distance and came upon the lone rider in the darkness. To a lone rider, they seemed like angels coming upon him with the wings guided by the sounds of the bell. The two riders helped the old graybeard brush himself off and gather his belongings. They set up camp and talked long into the night about the old man's brush with the rogue gremlins, and many of the rides passed. The old man offered to pay, but as is biker tradition, the two men would not accept any form of payment. In the morning, the men helped the old graybeard patch his tire and limped him to the service station in the next town. Again, as they prepared to go their separate ways, the men refused payment. The old man had kind of suspected this, so early in the morning hours, just before dawn, he awoke and cut two pieces of leather from his saddlebag tassels and tied a bell to each piece. He then attached the bell, one on each of the angel riders' bikes, as close to the ground as possible. As the old man watched his new friends roll out of the dusty service station driveway, he thought he could hear the ringing of the bells over the low rumble of the bikes. And this is the legend of the Gremlin Bell. And in order for its effect to be twice as strong, a loved one or a friend must give you the bell.